be.
I don't like. You're fine. You're right on the.
Yeah.
You're right where you are.
Well, somebody was sitting there.
I know.
So. We're gonna have to keep our heads up. The glass is so low. I don't need to get. I need to take a picture All right, getting ready to start our first game of the weekend against Belle Tire. Kushkowski, Pulauskas, Bergeron, Brzgintis, and Aldridge to start. Kushkowski pushes that puck to Aldridge over to Brzgintis. Brzgintis up to Bergeron. Bergeron sends it in his zone. Pulauskas coming on the forecheck, pins the puck behind the net. Bergeron over to help. Puck moved up off of the glass, kept in by Kushkowski across for Pulauskas. Pulauskas shot is blocked. Brzgintis, Pulauskas sends it over to Bergeron. Bergeron working in the corner, gets it knocked away, and then pinned. Belle Tire goes D to D. And out of play, really low glass, and Spectator got the side end of that one. Boys are going to have to get used to the low glass, and we're going to have to keep our heads up. Predidio, Nietzsche, Letcher, Rybicki, and Campbell on the ice. Belle Tire controls the faceoff and sends it over to the opposite corner. Puck through the neutral zone, bounces off of Belle Tire player, and sent back into the zone to the corner. Campbell escapes, puck up to Predidio. Predidio to Nietzsche. Nietzsche sends that pass to Letcher. Letcher doesn't bring the puck with him, and Belle Tire comes back through. Pass across, shot deflected into the netting. Good back check by Letcher to get there, knock that puck away. Paulo, Chalicki, and Carter on the ice. Onak and Miller at D. Paulo sends that puck to the corner. Belle Tire gets to it before Miller can. Puck over to Paulo and up the sideboards for Carter. Paulo takes it and puts it behind the net for Miller. Miller to Onak. Onak to Carter. Puck touches off of Carter's stick and goes below the goal line. Paulo in hard on the forecheck. Puck up to Chalicki. Onak gets a shot on pad. It bounces over to the sideboard. Paulo gloves it down, sends it to Miller. Miller looking for a centering pass. Puck is loose next to the goaltender. Goaltender lost sight of it. Carter pins his man. Chalicki battling on the sideboard. Moves the puck up to Carter, who pins it. Chalicki working to get it out. Belle Tire gets it off of the boards, but over to Reynolds, who's come out for Paulo. Puck in the corner. And then up the sideboard over to Carter. Carter sends it back down. Aldridge comes on the ice. Carter changes. Brown comes on the ice. Puck bounces off of Aldridge's stick, and Fury regroups. Puck to Reynolds. Reynolds dumps it in. Kruger is now on the ice. Brzgintis comes out. Puck off of Brzgintis' skate over to the sideboard. Kruger steps in front of the pass. It goes over to Reynolds, who sends it back in. Kruger on the forecheck, forcing a pass over to the sideboard. Knocked down by Aldridge. Aldridge pass misses Brown, goes over to Kruger. Kruger tags up Brown, sends it in. Kruger to the corner, Brown over to help. Puck over to Brown. Brown on the backboard. Chips it out. Picked up by Belle and brought out of the zone. Kruger back checking. Belle sends it in on cutting. There's Gintis around for Aldridge. Belle brings it to the corner. Aldridge and Reynolds working. Puck over the opposite sideboard. Brown gets a stick on it. Puck to Gintis, who chips it forward. Brown changes. Reynolds changes. Pulauskas and Bergeron on the ice. Cutting leaves that puck for Rubicki. Rubicki and Campbell come out on D. Bergeron chips ahead for Pulauskas. Pulauskas gets the puck across center line and in. Kushkowski comes out. 13-17 to go. Still 0-0. Kushkowski battling on the sideboard. Puck down to Cutting. Cutting leaves it for Rubicki. Rubicki moves it up to Pulauskas. Bounces off Pulauskas' skate. Belle sends it back in. Campbell. Nifty move to avoid some pressure. Pulauskas up the sideboard, gets put into the boards. Belle goes D to D in their own zone and then up across and puck brought in. Rubicki beats the Belle player to the puck and it goes to the back wall. Rubicki coming around up the near boards, off of the glass and into neutral ice. Belle sends it back in, bounces off the Cutting, and Campbell takes a look. Campbell up to Rubicki, bounces off of Rubicki, stick it to neutral ice. Belle sends it back in. Cutting for Campbell. Campbell back to Rubicki. Rubicki cross ice, looking for Letcher on the stretch. Gets knocked away by Belle and sent back in. Pulauskas changes. Credidio comes on. Letcher working on the backboard. Puck goes high, bounces off of Kushkowski back on the sideboard. Letcher battling hard, gets the puck out of the zone. Credidio chasing. Belle circles and enters. Kushkowski changes. Nietzsche comes on. Cutting sends that puck to the corner. Credidio taps ahead for Nietzsche. Nietzsche blazing through. Gets a shot. It's blocked. Still forcing pressure. Belle dumps it behind their own goaltender. Letcher comes in, and Belle throws it out of play. Nietzsche, Letcher, Credidio, Onak, and Miller on the ice. Nietzsche squares up, puck pushed back to Onak. Onak pass to Credidio, wide open. Credidio, puck gets pushed over to the corner. Letcher and Credidio battling, trying to get that puck up. Onak gets a shot, hits off of the stick of the goaltender and out of play. Nietzsche sends that puck to Onak. Onak to Credidio, to Letcher in the slot, back to Onak. Onak's pass to Credidio is blocked. Belle gets it into neutral ice. Letcher leaves it for Miller. Miller to Onak. Onak sends it in and goes wide of the net to the backboard. Credidio pressuring, puck over to the sideboard, and then knocked away by Nietzsche. Credidio almost got a stick on it, but Belle escapes and sends the puck to neutral ice. Onak back forward. Credidio goes for it. Belle sends it out of play. Good pressure by Credidio, forcing Belle to toss a puck, and gives us an in-zone faceoff. Chalicki, Paulo, Carter, Chris Gintis, and Aldridge on the ice. 10:44 to go in the first, still 0-0. Paulo set to take the faceoff. Paulo wins that back. Chris Gintis sends it on net and no rebound. We'll do a faceoff again. Face off one again. Back to Porzingis. Shot in front. Gets blocked. Paulo picks it up. Paulo sends it to Carter. Carter gets taken down. No call. Carter battling. Puck gets worked up to Paulo. Paulo knocks it back to the corner. Puck bounces past Chalicki. Whoa, weird bounce off of the boards by the Zamdor. Belle regroups, tries to get past Paulo and can't. Paulo tries to chip it across for Chalicki, hits off of Belle T1ER, and they regroup in their own zone. Carter giving pressure. Chalicki on the sideboard, puck to the middle. Reynolds is there. Puck gets knocked away. Reynolds sends it back in. Brown comes on the ice. Brown, Reynolds, Porzingis, and Aldridge. Chalicki changes. Kruger's on. Porzingis carrying forward. Gets tied up. Puck back to Aldridge. Aldridge sends it in. Puck up the near board. Brown comes over to pressure. Belle T1ER sends it forward. Campbell picks it up, sends it to Rubicki. Campbell Rubicki out on a change. Brown sends that puck in the zone. Reynolds on the forecheck. Kruger coming up the near boards. Belle T1ER sends it to him. Bounces it off. Puck to Brown in the middle. Shot. Brown's one-timer hits pad. Belle T1ER goes cross ice. Rubicki puts his guy into the boards. Kruger over to help. Puck up. Put in front, blocked. Brown forward for Kruger, gets tipped by Belle T1ER, and Belle sends it back in. Campbell looking for space, gets the puck over to Rubicki. Rubicki from the corner. Up for Kruger, bounces up to Reynolds. Reynolds got Brown coming to the net. Drop pass to Kruger. Kruger shot off of the pad and covered. Good shift. Couple of good scoring opportunities. Still 0-0 with 8:37 to go in the first. Bergeron, Krzyzewski, Pulauskas, Miller, and Onak come on the ice for this face-off. Krzyzewski sends that to Pulauskas. Pulauskas to Miller. Back to Pulauskas. Onak on the far board takes a hit. Sends a puck low for Bergeron. Belle T1ER gets a hold of it and sends it up the near board. Pulauskas comes up, keeps the puck in, but Belle T1ER knocks it away. Bergeron ties up on the sideboard. Belle T1ER sends it cross ice and then dumps forward. One man in, one man back door. Puck knocked away by Onak. Belle pins it. Krzyzewski takes that off of the board, sends it over for Pulauskas. Pulauskas picks that puck up and carries forward. He avoids the brunt of the hit and keeps the puck going down. Bergeron gets a stick on it, sends it behind the goaltender. Belle goes D to D and goes opposite side, now trying to center through the neutral zone. Puck hits off of a skate. Bergeron's chip attempt bounces off a Belle T1ER player. Puck in front, hits off of the post. So after a bunch of bouncing off the skates, Belle gets a shot opportunity, hits the post. Puck goes the other way. Nietzsche comes on the ice, keeps that puck in the zone, takes a hit, puck goes to the corner. Predidio comes on the ice. Letcher is on the ice. Predidio and Nietzsche working to dig that out. Predidio gets that puck up to Aldridge. Aldridge to Porzingis. Porzingis tucks it into the corner. Belle sends it back up. Porzingis walks the line, gets a shot off pad. Letcher ties up. Predidio over to help. Puck in feet. Everybody's trying to get hold of it. Comes loose behind Belle T1ER and then picked up by the outside man. Belle T1ER sends it in. No icing. Puck up for Letcher. And that will be an icing. Carter, Paulo, Chalicki back on the ice. 6:43 to go in the first, still 0-0. Fury threatening a couple of opportunities, but no luck on any of the goals yet. Paulo wins that faceoff over to Aldridge. Puck sent up the boards, kept in by Belle. Aldridge battling, sends it over for Chalicki. Loose puck to Prusgintis. Prusgintis sends it to Carter. Carter takes a hit, but Belle Tire got the worst of that one. Puck over on the side of the net, knocked to the sideboard, kept in by Prusgintis. Prusgintis' shot goes off pad over to the corner. Hollow gives some pressure. Puck bounces over Chalicki, and Belle goes the opposite way. Belle likes to stay spread out coming into the zone. Opposite sides. They've tried some centering opportunities, but they do like to stay wide. Rybicki on the ice with Campbell now. Reynolds has changed and is on the ice for Paulo. Puck knocks over to Chalicki. Chalicki's pass to Reynolds knocked away by Belle. Belle sends that in on cutting and no rebound. We'll get the rest of Reynolds' line out. Brown and Kruger come to join. Oh, yeah. Reynolds, forward to take the draw. Pushes it to the corner for Rybicki. Rybicki's pass up for Brown. Gets knocked back by Belle. Kruger pins on the sideboard. Sends the puck back to Rybicki. Rybicki sends the puck to neutral ice for Reynolds. Reynolds working the puck. Puck goes back to Rybicki. Rybicki to Campbell. Campbell sends it hard around. Kruger over to the sideboard. Reynolds tries to knock it out. Puck to Rybicki. Rybicki's shot is blocked to the corner. Coming around, Belle escapes Kruger, and they bring it into neutral ice. Campbell sends that puck. No icing. Doesn't quite go enough. Belle flips it high into the air for Campbell. Miller's come on the ice. Puck bounces off of the boards, goes in between Reynolds and Kruger. Belle gets a shot on cutting, gets knocked over to the corner. Kruger digs a puck out, kept in by Belle. Belle sends it to the back boards and then works it around up to the point. Shot in front, blocked aside. Reynolds sends it down, and that'll go on net, so no icing. We get a change. Kushkowski, Bergeron, Pulauskas come on. Onak joins Miller. Puck to Onak behind the net, up for Bergeron. Puck bounces past Bergeron, but knocked into neutral ice by Kushkowski. Miller sends the puck forward. Kushkowski gets a little bit of interference. Bergeron knocks the puck into Belle's zone. Belle Tire working off of the sideboard, knocked away by Pulauskas. Bergeron got a backhand on it, was going to send that to Kushkowski, but it goes a little too far, and Belle battling Kushkowski on the sideboard. Pulauskas digs that puck out, makes an escape move, tries to carry forward, it gets knocked away. Pulauskas sends that back into the zone. Kushkowski coming in hard, knocks the puck away, over to Pulauskas. Pulauskas circling, up to Miller. Puck bounces off of Miller's stick and sends that back up to Pulauskas. Pulauskas sends it back in. Kushkowski going for Bergeron, and Pulauskas change. Credidio and Letcher come on the ice. Aldridge and Prusgintis at D. Belle Tire ices the puck, and we'll get an in-zone face-off. Nietzsche comes on to replace Kushkowski. 3:12 to go in the first, still 0-0. Really a dominant offensive performance. We just can't get one in. Belle wins that face-off and sends it across. Good stick by Aldridge, knocks it away. Belle Tire takes a stumble. Letcher sends that puck back in the zone. Credidio harassing as best as he can. Nifty pass by Belle Tire between the legs. They send that puck up and in. Letcher moves the puck across for Prusgintis. Prusgintis carries in, drops to Credidio. Credidio sends that back in. Prusgintis took a hit, but Belle also weathered quite a bit of that from Prusgintis. Belle Tire cross ice pass to the near board, trying to get past Letcher. Puts a puck on cutting right to his glove and no rebound. Paulo, Chalicki, and Carter on the ice. Puck comes into the middle of the ice. Carter levels a hit without even trying. Puck over to the sideboard where Vicky knocks man off his puck. Carter comes over. Belle screens Carter, and they knock the puck to the corner. Then over to the opposite side, Chalicki steals that puck, gets it to Carter in neutral ice. Carter takes a hit. Puck gets over to Paulo. Paulo's shot is saved. Chalicki, who just innocently coming down the ice, happens to flip over Carter's remnants as he had leveled that kid. Puck taken away by Campbell. Campbell cross for Chalicki. Carter changes. Brown comes on. Chalicki drop pass. Campbell sends it in. Brown comes in on the forecheck. Kruger comes on. Cutting. Sends it to Miller. Miller to Brown. Brown carries in. Tries to send the puck deep. It gets knocked over to Reynolds. Reynolds tries to send it to Brown. It hits Belle Tire's skate. Miller gives that puck to Onak. Onak to Brown. Brown takes a hit. Puck gets stuck under his feet. And then Belle tries to send it out. Minute to go in the period. Belle Tire comes through the neutral zone and over to the corner. Miller harassing. Puck back up to the point. Puck knocks off of Onak's skate to the corner. Reynolds trying to dig that puck out. Puck sent up the boards. Brown comes up to challenge. Good knockaway by Reynolds. Brown carries. He's got space. Brown quick shot. 30 seconds to go. And we'll get a change. Palauskas, Bergeron, Kushkowski on the ice. Brown was gassed after that shift. I don't think he got as much on it as he wanted, but it did almost bounce off of the chest of the goaltender. Palauskas with a shot right from the point. Good win by Kushkowski on that faceoff. Palauskas' shot goes into the chest of the goaltender. No rebound. 25.7 seconds to go. Still 0-0. Face-off one back to Brzgintis. Brzgintis' shot is tipped in front by Bergeron. Knocked aside by the goaltender, and Belle sends it up. Aldridge keeps it in, and it goes back to the backboard. 15 seconds to go in the period. Belle Tire from the opposite side sends it. Aldridge back up the board for Palauskas. Palauskas touch pass to Kushkowski. We got a 2-on-1. Kushkowski had to send it. We only had 2 seconds to go. So Kushkowski puts that puck on, and Belle Tire escapes 0-0. It'd be nice to put one of these in. It'd be nice for a rebound, though. Neither goaltender's given rebounds. Since this is a Tier 1 event, we're going to have ice cut at the middle of the second period. So look for stoppage around 8:30. No, they'll let them play. We're going to start the second period with Nietzsche, Credidio, Letcher, Prisgintis, and Aldridge. Puck back to Aldridge. Aldridge up to Letcher. Letcher sends it into the middle of the ice. Belle goes D to D and then flips it into neutral zone. Puck knocked over to the sideboard. Credidio, nice hit. Puck over to Prisgintis. Up for Letcher. Letcher back down to Aldridge. Aldridge to Nietzsche. Tapping forward for Letcher. Knocked away by Belle. Aldridge. In the slot goes wide. Puck over to Letcher. Letcher sends that puck to Nietzsche. Letcher takes a big hit. He's still down a little bit. Nietzsche trips ahead for Prisgintis. Prisgintis, little flip attempt, fooled the goalie a little bit. Nietzsche with a shot into the goalie's glove, and we'll get a change. Nifty little move by Prisgintis to try to tap that off with the defender onto the goalie, which did work, and the goaltender almost overslid. 16:11 to go in the second. Paulo, Chalicki, Carter, Campbell, and Revicki on the ice. Belle wins the puck back to the corner, but no getting away from Carter as he levels his guy. Paulo winds up digging that puck out, sends it for Chalicki in the middle of the ice. Paulo takes a hit for his efforts. Belle back the other direction. Campbell, good stick, knocks the puck to the sideboard. Carter comes over to help. Campbell and Carter trying to dig that puck. Carter chips it forward for Paulo. Knocked away from Paulo. Belle picks it up, but then loses the handle, and it goes back to their D. Carter coming in with pressure. Belle goes cross ice and enters. They got one man streaking. Good stick by Campbell, forces the puck to the corner. Puck kept in by Belle, and they send it on to Cutting and out of play. 15:22 remaining. Kruger, Reynolds, Brown on the ice. Miller and Onak at D. Campbell sends that to the sideboard. It gets over to Onak. Onak flips it high for Kruger. Bounces in front of Kruger. Belle sends it back to neutral ice and then down the far board. Miller knocks it up to Reynolds. Reynolds to Kruger. Kruger chips forward. Kruger battling. Puck to the corner, knocked out by Reynolds, and then coming across. Brown back checks. Belle dumps it in. Miller to Onak. Onak looking for Kruger. Finds Kruger. Kruger with a step. Gets a backhand shot, one-handed off. Goes wide. Reynolds digs it out. Brown gets a tip. Goes over to the sideboard. Good back check by Brown. Knocks the puck away. Back to Belle's D. Belle sends that in. That's icing. 14:27 to go. And we'll get a change. Still 0-0. Kushkowski, Pulauskas, Bergeron, Prisgintis, and Aldridge come on the ice. Good tough shot by Kruger on that last shift to get the puck still on net. Oh. We're a little faster than Belle. Puck to Pulauskas, another nice win by Kushkowski to get Pulauskas in the slot. Puck goes glove side, no rebounds. See if we try a low blocker side on the next one. Puck knocked to the corner. Kushkowski pins it with Bergeron's help. over to the sideboard. Belle Tire knocks it off of the board. Pulauskas comes in to help it. He takes a hit, and Belle Tire escapes behind the goaltender. Puck into the middle of the ice, and then sent in. Gintis up the sideboard, bounces off of a skate over to Pulauskas. Pulauskas streaking down the sideboard, drops for Kushkowski. Kushkowski pull-through shot into the glove of the goaltender. Some way or another, we're going to have to make a rebound happen here. Letcher, Credidio, Nietzsche on the ice with Campbell and Rubicki. Puck over to Letcher. Letcher goes blocker side, but it goes wide of the net. Puck sent down on the sideboard. Letcher sends it over to Credidio. Credidio makes a move. Puck to Campbell. Campbell walks it in, shot low off of the pad. We get that rebound, but Nietzsche takes a cross check. He was standing right there. Gets knocked out of the way. Puck back to Campbell. Campbell forward for Nietzsche. Nietzsche knocks it into the zone. Puck back to Campbell, gloves it down. Belle Tire knocks it around. Nietzsche passes to Rubicki. Rubicki escapes behind Cutting. Coming from behind Cutting, puck up for Letcher. Letcher chips it forward for Nietzsche. Nietzsche's got Credidio back door. Nietzsche shot into the stomach of the goaltender, no rebound. I'm sure he was looking for a pass on pad there, just a little too high. .13:05 to go. Shalicki, Paulo, Carter, Onak, and Miller. Belle Tire sends that puck into neutral ice. Miller is there. Belle stumbles. Miller gets the puck to Carter. Carter up to Shalicki. Shalicki to Onak. Onak with space. Gets past one person. Takes a hit in the corner. Puck goes behind the goaltender, and Carter is there to give a hit. Puck to the corner. Paulo knocks it back down low. Bounces off of Paulo's skate. Belle Tire trying to spring a man. That's a penalty. That's a slash. No call. It could have been a slash. It could have been a trip. Belle Tire sends it back in. Carter with a big hit. Onak sends that puck to Carter. Bouncing off of Carter's stick, Belle Tire sends that forward, but Paulo is in the way. Paulo puts his guy into the boards. Onak up for Shalicki. Shalicki sends it in. Paulo and Carter change. Brown and Reynolds come on. Gintis and Aldridge come on. Belle Tire sends that in. Bounces off of Aldridge's skate. Brown sends it to Gintis. Gintis to Shalicki. Shalicki goes for a change, and Kruger comes on. Puck over to the sideboard. Brown over to help. He gets interfered with. Gintis takes it away. Gets past two Belle Tire players. Knocked away. Kruger and Reynolds over to help. Puck into neutral ice. Aldridge sends it forward for Brown. Brown chips it over. It goes to Gintis. Gintis carries in. Gintis gets taken down. There's a stick on the ice. That should have been a trip. Brown knocks the puck and takes it in himself. He's got a lane. Walks through. Shot. Gets deflected and goes out of play. Looked like Brown was going short side. Hit off of, I think, the tip of the stick and goes out of play. .11 minutes to go. Kushkowski, Pulauskas, Bergeron on the ice. Rubicki and Campbell at D. Rubicki's shot gets knocked wide. Kushkowski puts that to the corner for Bergeron. Belle Tire sends it up the sideboard. Kept in by Rubicki, knocked aside and into neutral ice by Belle. Kushkowski sends that forward for Pulauskas. Pulauskas battling on the boards. Puck over to the corner. Kushkowski, good placement, gets a stick on that puck. Belle goes the other way. Pulauskas, good back check. Belle dumps it into the corner where Rybicki is waiting. Rybicki to Pulauskas. Pulauskas hard up the boards. Kept in by Belle, blocked by Campbell. Pulauskas sends that puck up high for Kushkowski. Kushkowski tried to glove it down, but slid, and the puck made its way to Belle. Bergeron, good stick, knocks that puck over to Pulauskas, who sends it in. Kushkowski changes. Nietzsche comes on. Bergeron changes. Letcher is on. Onak over to Letcher. Letcher carries in. Over for Onak. Onak sends that to the corner. Onak still with it. Turns. Sends the puck centering. Knocked down by Belle. Belle tries to clear. Kept in by Miller. Puck bounces off of Credidio. Nietzsche sends it over. Credidio tries to center that puck, and then Belle sends it out of play. Again, the low boards, the low glass is really coming into play here as D-men can't do what they normally do. There's no high glass to send it off of. It usually comes at least up to the blue line. Belle goes D to D and up. They have one cherry picker that misses, and it'll be icing. 9:26 to go in the second. Belle something that they're slower than us is starting to send a man early to try to get behind our D. Belle working on the sideboard. Credidio does a nice job of forcing pressure. Nietzsche sends that puck back, and then puck gets knocked away on the sideboard. Credidio, good back check, forcing Belle to the corner where they don't have anywhere to go. Onak over to help. Puck still underneath, 8:58 to go. Credidio battling, wins it, and sends it up the boards for Nietzsche, kept in by Belle. Belle tries to pass it across. Letcher, good stick and skate, knocks that puck down. He's going to carry forward. Letcher gets past a guy, passes to Credidio. Credidio shot low and put away. Credidio backdoor. Puck gets knocked away. Belle escapes. Credidio point blank. Almost got that puck down low. Przgintis in the corner. Belle gets a hold of it. Backhand shot hits Cutting's helmet. Przgintis trying to carry forward. Puck gets knocked, and again, the puck is sent out of play by Belle with the low boards. So still tied 0-0 with 8:11 to go. We'll go to ice cut. And we'll see you guys in 10 minutes. There's a lot. Had to take a break. And now it's cold. It's not as good as when it was warm. Coming out after the ice cut, and we're going to set up with Kushkowski, Bergeron, Palauskas, Brzgintis, and Aldridge. So if you'll recall, prior to ice cut, the puck went out of play. Kushkowski to take the face-off. Palauskas jumps in front of that and tries to get past Belle's D. They send it the other way. Brzgintis knocks that puck to the corner. Belle shot into Cutting's glove with 7:56 to go in the second. Face-off won by Belle. Quick shot goes wide. Bergeron over to the sideboard to get it. Sent up to Palauskas. Palauskas pass to Kushkowski, goes into the corner. Kushkowski takes a look. Puck gets knocked away. Belle back into the neutral ice. Tries to get past Aldridge. Aldridge knocks it over to Brzgintis. Brzgintis to the sideboard and then up for Palauskas. Palauskas knocks it ahead. Kushkowski picks it up. Quick shot into the stomach of the goaltender. No rebound. And we'll get a change. Reynolds, Kruger, and Brown come on the ice. Campbell and Rybicki remain. 7:29 to go in the second. Kruger's going to take the faceoff. Kruger sends it back to Rybicki. Rybicki's shot gets blocked and goes into the netting. Kruger back to take the face-off again. Puck gets knocked underneath Kruger. Brown trying to work it out. Belle picks it up. Brown back checking. Puck knocked away by Campbell. Over to Rybicki. Rybicki tries to pin that puck. It gets knocked to Campbell. Campbell, with some space, gets knocked off of the puck. Belle brings it back in. Rybicki knocks it to the corner. Rybicki battling. Puck goes up to Brown. Belle tries to send that back in. It goes down below the net and up to Campbell. Puck gets past Kruger and sent back in by Belle. Brown sends that puck up and out for Kruger. Belle knocks it away. Campbell blocks an entry pass, and Kruger picks it up and carries in. Kruger's shot gets blocked to the corner behind the net for Campbell. Brown back covering with Onak. Onak knocks the puck behind the net. Brown over to help cutting covers, recognizing that that's not a D-man yet with him, takes the whistle and we'll get a change. Chalicki, Paulo, and Carter back on the ice. Miller and Onak at D. Puck one back to Onak. Onak sends it over for Carter. Carter pulls it off of the boards, but takes a stumble. Belle Tire sends it back in. Miller drops for Onak. Onak has some space, so he takes a look, gets it to Paulo. Paulo chips forward. Chalicki on the forecheck. Belle Tire sends it around, kept in by Miller. Down to Carter, bounces off of Carter over to Belle Tire, kept in by Paulo. Puck knocked down by Belle Tire. Paulo pins. Puck comes loose. Over to Chalicki. Chalicki makes a move, puts the puck in. Takes a hit, and Belle Tire carries forward. Bounces off of Onak's skate. Onak taps ahead for Carter. Belle Tire gets it back to their D over to the sideboard and dumped in. Belle wasn't quite to middle to center ice, and we get an icing. We'll get fresh legs out there with Credidio, Beachy, and Letcher, Prisgitis, and Aldridge at D. Nietzsche looks to take the face off. Belle Tire steps back. They get a personnel change. Credito's hooked. Puck underneath. Prisgitis tries to send it to the corner. Belle Tire carries it into neutral ice and then chips it low. Prisgitis back up to Credidio. Credidio makes a move around and then gets Letcher open. Letcher's got a breakaway. Letcher slows it down, waits for Nietzsche. Nietzsche tries to go backhand, gets knocked away, puck up to Prisgitis, and then knocked into the netting. Great play by Letcher, good patience. He waits for Nietzsche, who's streaking. Nietzsche gets a wide open opportunity. He tries to go forehand, backhand, and just gets knocked away a little bit. But great scoring opportunity. Kushkowski, Bergeron, Pulauskas come on the ice. Kushkowski goes early, gets kicked. Bergeron comes in to take the face-off. Berge ties up. Belle Tire goes D to D behind the goaltender, sends the puck up, hits Prisgitis. Kushkowski picks it up, carries forward, tries to go across for Pulauskas, hits a skate, puck to the corner. Pulauskas sends it up the sideboard. Belle Tire still working it. Pulauskas just gets cross-checked. Puck knocked away. Bergeron sends that up for Pulauskas. Pulauskas works the puck to the corner. Puck comes around for Kush. Kush knocks it to Rybicki. Rybicki tries to knock it back to Kushkowski. Belle Tire in the way. Prisgitis gets a hit. Puck goes behind cutting over to Rybicki. Up for Bergeron to Kushkowski. Kushkowski sends it across for Prisgitis. Belle Tire knocks it to the corner and goes behind their goaltender. Letcher comes on the ice. Puck tapped away. Cross for Belle, and their shot goes into the stomach of cutting, no rebound. Credidio and Nietzsche come back out. 3:48 to go in the second. Still 0-0. Nietzsche to take the draw. Face-off, one over to Rybicki. Rybicki working in the corner, sends it over to Nietzsche. Nietzsche back to Rybicki, blocked by Belle Tire. Up the boards and pinned back down to the corner. Campbell sends it to Rubicki. Rubicki for Letcher. Puck bounces away from Letcher into neutral ice. Belle Tire's off sides. They tag up, cutting the puck, sliding. It came with him when he played it. Presidio in over to Nietzsche. Nietzsche shot goes wide. Puck gets a neutral ice for Campbell. Campbell and Onak on the ice. Onak carries that forward. Campbell changes. Somebody's offside. And we'll get a change. Reynolds, Kruger, and Brown on the ice. .304 to go in the period. Reynolds to take the face-off with Onak and Miller at D. D-to-D pass misses, bounces over to Brown. Brown sends it to Miller. Miller to Onak. Puck goes past Onak and back down low. Onak gets tripped. Brown over to help. Brown sends it back with them. Puck ahead for Kruger. Kruger's got a step. He's got Brown with him. Kruger takes a shot. Puck back to the middle. Reynolds. Reynolds shot blocked. Bounces over to Onak. Onak tries to send it for Kruger. Goes back over to Reynolds. Reynolds to Brown. Brown picks it up in the slot. Shot in front into the glove of the goaltender. Kruger with a good screen. Puck bounces into the glove of the goaltender, and we'll try again. 2:22 to go in the second. Still 0-0. Face off underneath. Kruger. Brown sends it to the backboard. Reynolds knocks it away from Belle. Kruger back to Reynolds in the corner. Sends it forward for Kruger. Kruger to Reynolds on the sideboard. Knocked up to Miller. Miller's shot goes wide over to Onak. Onak sends it back down low for Kruger. Puck to the corner. Belle Tire tries to send it forward. Onak comes to help. Kruger gets the puck knocked away. Miller back to Onak. Puck brought in. Brown chasing. Puck sent high over to Onak. Onak pins it on the boards. Puck comes over to Brown. Brown waits. Sends it up for Miller. Miller chips on and covered by Belle Tire. I got to say, the Belle Tire goaltender is holding on for his life right now because everything's on him. Chalicki, Paulo, Carter, Aldridge, and Priskintis on the ice. Minute 33 to go in the second. Paulo has that puck underneath him, dug out by Belle Tire. They tried to send it out. Paulo knocks it down. Paulo sends it puck down to the corner. He takes a hit. Puck goes behind the net and around up for Aldridge. Aldridge, quick shot in front. Paulo's there. Puck knocked high. Goes behind the net. Chalicki. Quick turn. Gets pinned. Puck over to the sideboard. Carter's there. Carter works it back down for Chalicki. Chalicki centering for Paulo. Now over to Carter. Carter shot block his head. Paulo with the dirty goal. Standing in front. Carter. It'll be Paulo from Carter and Chalicki, and it's 1-0 Fury. Well, like I said in the first, we just needed some rebounds, and there they were. Belle Tire is arguing the goal. The coach is irate. This one over here, but Paulo played it. So I didn't see a hand pass, and there wasn't goalie interference. So I don't know what the complaining is. Unless they're saying offside, but that's not going to be reviewable. All right, so we've got a dispute. The officials are, there's a lot of head shaking. Belle T1ER does not agree. The officiating crew is letting the coach know that he's done. I think he's going to get a bench minor. One of the officials talking to the lead official, telling him that they got a warning. He's still yelling that it's horrible. I didn't see what he saw. I'm not sure. But 57.5 seconds to go. Puck over to Pulauskas. Pulauskas stumps it in. Belle T1ER working the corner. Puck into the zone. Sent around. Campbell up for Bergeron. Bergeron knocks the puck loose. It goes over to Kushkowski. Kushkowski sends it forward. Pulauskas gets a hold of it, drops for Kushkowski. Kushkowski, quick shot, goes wide. Pulauskas is over tying up. Puck moved forward for Belle. They've got a man free. Puck shot wide of Cutting and over to the near board. Another shot attempt blocked by Campbell. Belle T1ER in the corner. Puck up. Bergeron. They had called. But I didn't see an official's arm up. So how's anybody supposed to know? I'm going to have to rewatch that now. Because if they were going to get a penalty. No. You have to have control. If it hits the goalie, that's a rebound. That doesn't count as possession. All right, so it appears that during that goal, there was a cross-check penalty called. It sounds like they were saying that 4 guys touched the puck. I saw him putting 4 up, so now that makes sense what his argument was. But we had, I don't know when, I don't know the timing of the penalty, so. Either way, Fury up 1-0, start of 3. We're going to start out with Nietzsche, Presidio, and Letcher. Puck over to the sideboard, up to Onak. Onak knocks it away and sends it back in. Puck goes on the goaltender. Presidio chasing, forcing Belle T1ER to go D to D. Back behind there. Puck down to Puck up to Letcher. Letcher carries forward. Knocked up to Onak. Onak sends it off to the backboard. Presidio pressuring. Belle Tire off of the sideboard. Over to Nietzsche. Nietzsche tries to get a stick on it. Puck is sent in by Belle Tire. Letcher and Miller back to the backboard. Miller sends it up to Presidio. Presidio taps it over to Onak. Onak carries forward. Tries to get past one. Puck goes on net as it looked like Onak's skate just kind of turned on him. Belle Tire ices that puck, and we'll get a change. Kruger, Brown, and Reynolds come on the ice. Brzgintis and Aldridge. Nietzsche collecting his stick. Gets back to the bench. 15:55 to go in the third. Fury up 1-0. Kruger to take this draw. Brown offset behind him. Kruger tries to win it forward. Brown knocks it to the sideboard. Kruger sends it around. Reynolds puts a quick shot in front. It's blocked. Brown over, gives pressure. Puck to Brzgintis. Puck blocked to the backboard by Belle Tire. And then back D to D. Reynolds comes into forecheck. Puck bounces off and tapped into neutral ice. Brown gets a hold of it and sends it back in. Kruger giving pressure. Puck up the sideboard, bounces over and then off of Belle Tire. Reynolds picks it up, sends it back in. D changes. Campbell and Rybicki come on. Brown forces a turnover by Belle over to Campbell to Rybicki up to Reynolds. Reynolds enters with Brown. Shot high into the glove of Belle Tire. No rebound. 15:05 to go, and we'll get another change. Chalicki, Carter, and Paulo back on the ice. With the way this line has been knocking pucks loose, look for them to keep hitting. We'll see if that turns into an opportunity. Paulo takes the draw. Face-off won by Paulo. Back to Campbell. Campbell walks it over to Rybicki. Rybicki puts it back down low into the corner. Carter working to dig that out. Belle Tire goes across, bounces off of their stick, and past Campbell. Campbell chases it down, makes a move, goes behind cutting, and then sends it around for Carter. Carter off of the board, tips it forward for Paulo. Paulo gets through two guys, and then sends the puck in the zone. Chalicki and Paulo hard on the pressure. Belle Tire sends it off of the glass and into the corner. Puck pushed into neutral ice. It's 2-on-4, Belle Tire. Rybicki puts his guy into the boards, puck to the corner. Campbell puts his guy to the boards, puck gets knocked over to the sideboard. Belle Tire still in control. Shot goes wide of cutting and over to the sideboard for Chalicki. Rybicki gets a hit on. Paulo pinning in the corner. Gets tackled. Rybicki over to help. Rybicki knocks that to Chalicki. Chalicki off of the glass and out. Belle Tire sends it in. Carter with a nice hit. Paulo changes. Kushkowski comes on. And Fury iced the puck. Kushkowski, Bergeron, Pulauskas on the ice. Face-off went over to Onak. Onak up for Bergeron. Puck bouncing, knocks off of Bergeron over to Miller. Miller up for Pulauskas. Pulauskas gets pinned on the boards. Puck under his feet. Kushkowski trying to help dig it out. Belle Tire gets to it first. Belle Tire, D to D. Bergeron in, giving pressure across the ice for Belle Tire. Come around, they're way offsides. Kushkowski Waiting for the drop. Bergeron comes in a little too close for the official. Puck dropped and then knocked over to the near board. Belle T1ER sends it in. Onak from behind puts that puck up the sideboard. Belle T1ER beats it in, puts it on Cutting. Cutting knocks it over to the opposite corner. Puck gets past Miller's shot in the slot. Belle T1ER, that's their best scoring opportunity yet. Shot goes wide. Kolauskas knocks that puck out. Bergeron carries forward. Miller gets knocked down. Kushkowski sends that puck to the opposite board where Kolauskas is. He sends it down for Porzingis. Porzingis' pass for Kushkowski gets deflected. Kolauskas picks it up. Puck back up to Kushkowski. Kushkowski's shot goes into the corner. Kolauskas pushing, forcing Belle T1ER to go to the opposite corner and then across. And they ice the puck. Nietzsche, Credidio, and Letcher on the ice. Porzingis and Aldridge at D. 12:31 to go in the game. 1-0 Fury. Puck pushed over to the sideboard. Belle T1ER gets control of it. Nietzsche with a hit. Puck comes loose to neutral ice. Belle T1ER carries forward. Tries to skate through Aldridge. Doesn't work. Porzingis sends that puck up for Letcher. Letcher waiting. Sends that puck into open ice. Picked up by Credidio. Credidio gets the puck knocked away. Letcher knocks it back in the zone, but Belle T1ER clears to Aldridge. Aldridge to Porzingis, back to Aldridge. Up the near board for Credidio. Credidio tries to chip it. It hits the stomach of Belle T1ER. Letcher carries it in. Porzingis puts the puck across for Nietzsche. Makes it to the corner. Letcher sends it to Nietzsche. Oh, what a great pass. Letcher gets tackled. We play on. Belle T1ER sends the puck back in. Nietzsche comes to get it. Rybicki and Campbell on the ice. Letcher with a hit. Puck sent across. Couldn't get past Campbell, so they send it in. Rybicki picks it up in the corner. Reynolds is on the ice. Letcher changes. Brown comes on. Campbell to Rybicki. Kruger just came on the ice, tries to chip it in the zone. Hits off of Belle T1ER, but then Kruger gets a hold of it, puts a backhand shot on the net. Puck across. It's getting a little sloppy. Belle T1ER doing what they can to try to stay in this game. Puck left behind for Rybicki. Up to Kruger. Belle T1ER gets a hold of it, works it off of the boards. Rybicki sends it into neutral ice, back into the zone on Rybicki. Rybicki to Campbell. Campbell for Reynolds. Reynolds gets the puck knocked away back to Rybicki. Rybicki takes a look. Reynolds in the middle. Puck knocked away. Over to the near board. Reynolds up for Brown. Brown enters the zone. Shoves one hit off. Belle T1ER touches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Belle T1ER touches the puck. They're saying they had too many men. We're going to go on the power play. Somebody was counting. It wasn't me. So Belle T1ER, 2 minutes, too many men at 10:21 remaining in the third. If I were good at backwards math, I would say, at whatever, 8:39 or 7. No, I don't know, 6:39. See, I'm not good at it, so we're gonna say 10:19. Puck over to Kushkowski. Drops it for Reynolds. Reynolds to Kushkowski. Cross ice for Paulo. The Belle T1ER coach might have a argument there that was icing. They've had enough of him. It was definitely icing. But if they didn't call a timeout, that's another penalty. The goaltender can't come to the bench. I don't think he can go to the bench unless it's an official timeout or the end of the period. So it's going to be 5-on-3 now. Minute 30 to go on the first penalty, 2 minutes on the second. Nietzsche, Reynolds, Letcher, Prisgintis, and Onak on the ice. 9:50 to go after the bench minor. Puck one back to Onak, over to Prisgintis. Prisgintis' slap shot hits off the side of the net and to the corner. Puck knocked into neutral ice. Prisgintis has the puck knocked away and cleared by Belle. Minute 14 to go. We're going to reset up. Reynolds behind cutting. Leaves the puck for Letcher. Letcher coming around the far board. Drops for Reynolds. Reynolds to Nietzsche. Puck bounces away from Nietzsche and stayed in play. Belle clears it all the way down. I thought that was going to come out off the board. Onak puts this back to Onak. Onak walks it in. Down low for Reynolds. Reynolds' shot hits off of the stick of the goaltender and covered. No rebound. Kushkowski, Pulauskas, Paulo, Chalicki, and Campbell on the ice. 37 seconds to go in the first penalty. Face off. Went behind Paulo and then knocked out by Belle.
Bench by penalty on Belle Tire for unsportsmanlike conduct. That penalty was 7-10.
Puck up to Kushkowski. Kushkowski back to Campbell. Campbell over to Kushkowski on the sideboard. Back to Campbell on the point. Kushkowski and Campbell trying to work it in. Kushkowski backs off. Back over to Campbell. Campbell down low for Chalicki. Centering for Pulauskas. Block. Puck back to Kush. Kush over to Chalicki one time. And goal with 6 seconds to go on the first penalty. So Chalicki from Kushkowski. And it's 2-0. So 37 seconds to go on the remainder of the penalty. It'll be 5-on-4. Reynolds, Nietzsche, Letcher, Onak, and Prisgintis on the ice. Onak carries forward. Tries to pass over to Rabicki, gets knocked away.
Alexander Chalicki.
Puck up to Prisgintis, down low for Reynolds to Onak. And then knocked out. The coach just got kicked out. That was not offsides, but he was pretty mad about it. It didn't look like it from over here. No, it's still in. As long as it's on the blue, yeah. Seems like a silly thing to get thrown out for. But if you're already hot, They'll see him. .805 to go. Puck goes across to Prisgintis and then over to Onak. Onak puts a shot. Looked like actually that was a pass to Letcher. Just missed Letcher. Puck knocked back by Belle and out. That'll be the end of the penalty. Reynolds digs that puck out and sends it over for Letcher. Belle knocks it out. Miller tries to play that puck forward. Belle knocks it into the zone. Campbell sends it up for Letcher. Letcher to Miller. Up for Nietzsche, gets knocked away. Reynolds changes. Nietzsche changes. Paulo's on. Chalicki's on. And Carter. Belle ices. 7:09 to go. I think we finally figured out the goaltender. Shot slow on this goaltender. Puck one over to the corner by Belle. Goes around and gets past the D. Paulo squeezes his guy out. Carter sends it back to the corner for Chalicki. Belle tries to go D to D. Paulo gets a stick on it. Knocked away from Paulo. Belle up the sideboard. Paulo, good back shot. Puck goes over to Campbell. Campbell sends it in. Paulo changes. Kuszkowski comes on. Puck up to Rubicki. Rubicki pins it on the boards. Chalicki over to help. Belle regroups. Over to the sideboard. Carter coming over. Puck to Campbell. To Rubicki. Chalicki chips it into the middle of the ice. Kuszkowski sends it over to the sideboard. Rubicki gets to it. Rubicki and Kuszkowski working to dig it out. Carter knocks that over to Pulauskas. Carter changes. Bergeron comes on. Kuszkowski puts it in front. Hits off the pad of the goaltender and covered. 6:04. Kuszkowski, Bergeron, Pulauskas, Aldridge, Prisgintis on the ice. 2-0 Fury. Kuszkowski sends that puck back to Pulauskas. Pulauskas knocks it down and then sends it to the corner. Kuszkowski was interfered with. Puck comes out. Kuszkowski brings it back in. Drop pass for Pulauskas. Pulauskas passes forward for Bergeron. Bergeron trying to jam it in. It's still loose. Belle digs it out. Kuszkowski, good stick. Puck over to the corner. Kuszkowski. Bergeron trying to work it through. Bergeron gets taken down. Kuszkowski works it up to Pulauskas. Shot. Oh, Aldridge almost snuck one by. The goaltender slid. Toe save by the goaltender. Puck behind cutting now. Belle working out the boards. Up to the D. Pulauskas and Bergeron out to challenge. Berge blocks a shot. Puck back up and across. Pulauskas blocks a shot. Pulauskas chips forward and out of the zone. We'll get a change. Brown comes on. Kruger and Reynolds. 4:50 to go. Miller knocks that puck over to Kruger. Kruger working in the middle. Puck goes cross. Good block by Miller. Reynolds over. Puck up the sideboard. Kruger and Reynolds battling. Puck gets knocked off of the board up to Kruger. Belle Tire goes and puts it back in. Miller up to Kruger. Kruger carrying forward. He's got Brown backside. Kruger's pass gets blocked. Puck goes below. Brown working off of the boards gets Belle Tire's going for a cross check. 4:15 remaining. We'll go back on the power play. I think Reynolds absorbed that cross check. I think they cross checked Reynolds in front. So we'll go back on the power play. Reynolds, Onak, Brisgintis, Letcher, Nietzsche. Puck pushed over to the corner. Nietzsche sends that to Brisgintis. Brisgintis tries to send it back down to Nietzsche, gets intercepted. Belle Tire carries forward. Reynolds sends it across for Brisgintis. Brisgintis on the sideboard. Back to Onak. Onak for Letcher. Letcher. Quick slap shot. Goes across. Nietzsche gives it to Onak. Onak to Reynolds. Blocked. Campbell's on the ice. Campbell to Letcher. Back up to Campbell. Campbell finds Reynolds. Reynolds puts it in front. Nietzsche gets a shot. 2 shot attempts. Save. Nietzsche's being tied up. Onak knocks the helmet off. That's gonna be a penalty. He doesn't have a strap. The kid doesn't have a strap. Onak's going. They're sending them both. I mean, it's probably going to be head contact. No, on Onak, because the helmet came off. No, it's a 2 and 10. Well, oh, nope, they're just leaving it at a minor. So coincidental, no additional, stay 5-on-4. Paulo, Pulauskas, Chalicki on the ice. Pulauskas goes over to Campbell. Campbell to Kushkowski. Kushkowski back to Campbell. One time, Onak off of the blocker of the goaltender and out of play. Face off underneath Paulo, pushed to the corner by Belle Tire. Belle Tire on the backboards, sends it around. Kushkowski passes to Pulauskas. Pulauskas back to Kushkowski. Kushkowski to Campbell, back to Kushkowski. Kushkowski shot, goal! Kushkowski beats glove side, and it's 3-0. Brown, Presidio, and Kruger on the ice. Kruger to take the draw. Face off. Pushed back on Cutting. Cutting leaves it for Aldridge. Aldridge around for Priskintis. Priskintis up for Brown. Intercepted by Belle T1ER. Belle T1ER off of the sideboard. But that puck is loose. Dug out by Priskintis. Priskintis takes a hit, puck to the corner. Kruger gets taken down. Priskintis gets taken down. Puck in front. All 3-1. I don't know. Kruger looks hurt. Took a hit to the jaw. .213 remaining in the game. Presidio, Nietzsche, and Letcher on the ice. Letcher sends it to the corner for Presidio. Presidio working in the corner. Up to Miller. Puck never left the zone, but knocked back into neutral ice. Belle T1ER. Belle T1ER off of the sideboard. Presidio bounces off of his skate. Belle T1ER back in. Presidio pins on the sideboard. Puck is frozen, and we get a whistle. No, Presidio's helmet came off. Presidio's helmet came off. They said no at the bench. They said no on the bench. Face off, one back by Belle T1ER, working it to the sideboard and then sent back down. Reynolds, Paulo, and Chalicki on the ice. Reynolds clears it and sends it on goal. Goaltender plays it over. Paulo coming in hard. Belle T1ER coming up the near boards. Tries to send it in. It gets knocked away. Chalicki sends that puck into the zone. Paulo in. Rybicki and Letcher on the ice. Kushkowski comes on. Puck goes off of Cutting in behind the net. Rybicki sends it to Letcher. Letcher goes cross ice for Chalicki. Chalicki to Kushkowski. Kushkowski off of the board. 25 seconds to go. Priskintis is on the ice. Rybicki, good keep. Gets the puck off of the boards, gets it to Kushkowski. Kushkowski hits off of the goaltender, puck down low. Belle T1ER digs it out from underneath Kushkowski. 5 seconds. Belle T1ER brings it in. And that's the end of the game. Fury hold on, 3-1. Next game will be tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. All right. We'll see you guys all tomorrow morning.